I'd like to welcome everyone here this evening, Tuesday, January 17th. I'll ask if there's any disclosure of pecuniary interest. Seeing none, we'll go straight to committee reports. We'll start. We'll just go around the table. Councillor, yeah, Councillor Foote.
I do. We actually met, the rec committee met on the 9th of January, so it was a great meeting. We put together a new secretary and a new head of the committee. So I took over the committee. We spent time setting up for the next 6 months. So all of our events were set up for the year. Actually, we worked on a year, but we have solidified the next 6 months. Each event has a point person for it so that they can work with the office and work with whoever else is working on it. And then there's people there to help them also. So lots of collaboration going on, lots of teamwork. It's really good and it's a lot of fun. And I think there's some great stuff coming up. If you go on to the fire department website, you can see what's coming for the next 6 months right now. So the next one coming is the family skate. Last year, I think we had a great time with it. We had a DJ and some fireworks, and we just had a good time. So whether we can skate or not, we are not sure, but we will do something. We may play soccer, we will do something, we'll have a fun night for the kids. So anyway we go, it's gonna be some fun. We'll just have some fun. And then after that on the agenda's key one is a spaghetti dinner on March 4th. So the skate and the march is the two big ones. We have a craft event coming up for the kids, and we're either going to do bat boxes or birdhouses. Have some fun with the kids and build them. And I think that'll be a great time, followed by the Easter egg hunt. And the Easter egg hunt in April last year was a lot of fun. We actually did a scavenger hunt. I think we're going to send them a little farther this year. Make it a little more difficult, a little more fun, because I think we'll still get a lot of the participation from the kids, because it's getting out there and people are asking questions, which is really cool. We talked a lot about the empties at the dump and trying to get those done on a more regular basis, and we'll work on working on some kind of schedule to get some help and get them done on a more regular basis. It's a really good fundraiser for us as an event, and it really gives us some options. So for the most part, it was organizing this month's meeting and getting to know one another and figure out who's going to do what. And I think everybody took part. It was a lot of fun. Great.
Any questions?
Our revenue up to date is $4,171.
That's awesome. That's a lot of money. Coming in.
You know, helps with costs, definitely, whether it goes into park benches or soccer, whatever, you know, it's there to be used. So
That was the nice part. Yeah, soccer, Andrew Berry took on soccer this year. So he's agreed to step up and do soccer this year with Chris Johnson. So the two of them are going to take on soccer this year and make it fun for the kids. So that's a big one that we're going to have to get started on soon.
Good, good. And I look forward to those meetings, and then we have a schedule for the whole year. Yay. So moving on, Councillor Kirky.
February 1st, we have our first museum board meeting. And then we'll have 5 more after that. And North Bay Meadow Conservation Authority meeting is on from the 25th of this month, and I have to go for orientation tomorrow at 4 o'clock for that.
Looking forward to it. I can tell. Councillor Butler. Okay, it's coming. 2 things here. First of all, today was a Pines meeting. I had an ophthalmologist, so I wasn't there. And East Home is backed up for a week because they're working on the budget, so we can see how it's going to affect our levy. 2 things, though. The Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing are having another council training session. Now, we have all been to one training session. This would be a little different because it's municipal affairs and housing, but if anybody is interested in going, it's on Friday, February 3rd, 12:30 to 4:30. And if you are interested, we'll all run up to Chris right now and tell her, just talk to her after the meeting, and there's no charge. So a little more, but again, you've already had it, and it could be a little different. Okay. Now, the only other meeting that we had, as promised at the last council meeting, I said we would attempt to talk to Kawasi. And so last Thursday, Chris and Dan and I met with Mayor McIsaac and staff, and we presented the report that you received tonight, which is the joint jurisdiction road bridges with the municipality of Kawasi. Although we had budgeted for the full construction and surface treatment of the last two budgets, we were unable to meet with Kawasi, let alone get the funding for the Alsace Road. In June of 2022, just background, that was the first time in 2 years we were able to meet, and we agreed on the pulverization of the road and the 1/2 financial responsibility. Now, when we get to item 7 on tonight's agenda, you'll notice discussion of the capital budget, just discussion. But, well, okay, I've got a different. Yep, right, 12, thank you. So when we get to 12, now, we've again placed the reconstruction of the 2-kilometer section of Alsace Road, complete with dig outs, rocks, and problem areas, ditching and application of surface treatment. Now, Powassan has taken our information on that and the 2 bridge projects that, and they said they would put it on their council agenda. They made, and I quote, "no guarantees because they have yet to start their budget process." And you'll note that we gave alternatives to Powassan, knowing that no work can be done without the approval of both councils. And we'll continue to move forward and await the decision of Powassan's council. And Dan's given you some information on what this is going to cost. And if we look at $30,000 per whatever percent, our half is going to be 8%. That's what it would be on our budget. So we're looking for alternate funding methods, because 8% on top of what's going to be an increase this year, because every budget's going to increase this year, would be astronomical. So that's where we are. I didn't see their agenda for tonight, whether it's tonight or 2 weeks from now, but the process is there, the wheels are in motion, and we're ready to go. So you'll see that when we get into capital. And other than that, and the municipal affairs and housing, that's all I have. So we'll move on to number 3, now that I've got the right one, to adopt the minutes of the meeting held January 3rd. So I need a mover and a seconder. I'm going to go with this side with Councilor Kirkby and Councilor Butler. So it's number R 2023-16, by Councilor Kirkby, seconded by Councilor Butler, that the minutes of the council meeting held January 3rd, 2023 be adopted as published. All in favor? Carried. Number 4, the representative for the Perry Sound, North Bay Perry Sound Health Unit. And this would be Blair Flowers from the Township of Nipissing. So I need a mover and a seconder. Okay, Councilor Yam. And Councilor Foot, thank you. It's number R 2023-17, moved by Councilor Yam, seconded by Councilor Foot, that the Township of Nipissing supports the nomination of Blair Flowers of the Township of Nipissing as a Perry Sound Northeast member to the North Bay Perry Sound District Health Unit. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Carried. The next one, we talked about the Recreation Committee, and we're going to have a couple openings because we need a mover and a seconder to accept the resignation. So Councilor Foot and Councilor Griffin, thank you. So it's number R 2023-18, moved by Councilor Foot, seconded by Councilor Curtin, that we accept the resignation of Stephanie Duchesne from the Township of Nipissing Recreation Committee. We thank her for the time she spent, and I remember her at soccer nights, so thank her, and to accept her resignation. All in favor? Carried. So we'll be advertising 2 openings. The next one, I know everybody got the information a week ago. The North Bay's Household Hazardous Waste Program. We have participated in it for a number of years. And I mean, there's no other place for us to get rid of anything like that. So the idea is that we will continue to participate in the program, and it comes up every year. So this would be for 2023. Any comments or questions? Okay, mover and seconder, Councilor Yim and Councilor Butler. So it's number R 2023-19, moved by Councilor Yim, seconded by Councilor Butler, that we participate in the City of North Bay's Household Hazardous Waste Program for 2023. All in favor? Okay. Okay, so the next one is a resolution to stop up and close and sell part of the original shore road allowance. And before I read this all, this process began December 1st, 2016. So it's been ongoing for several years. And that's why we mentioned last week, or 2 weeks ago, last meeting, it was on the old fee. There's been no negative comments, and all the studies have been done. And our planner and John Paul supports our supporting of this. And
For these 4 properties. Understanding and the 3 properties too.
so I need a mover and a seconder. Councilor Turkey and Councilor Butler. You. And then I will ask if there are any questions. Number R 2023-20, moved by Councilor Kirby, seconded by Councilor Butler, that we pass bylaw number 2023-07, being a bylaw to stop up, close, and sell part of the original shore road allowance in front of broken lot 12, concession 16, designated as parts 1, 2, and 3 on plan 42R 21515 and part of the original shore road allowance in front of broken lots 11 and 12, concession 16 designated as part 4 on plan 42R 21515, the Township of Nipissing, District of Perry Sound, read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed the 17th day of January 2023. All in favor? You. Okay. Okay, so if there are any questions on the next one, Dan and John Paul help with it. This is the nuisance meter bylaw. And again, we handed this all out a week ago, Wednesday, whatever. So I'll ask for a mover and seconder, and then if anybody has any questions, we'll open the floor. So Councillor Yam and Councillor Butler, thank you. And when we get them in advance like this, and Councillor Kirky had a question, it's good, we can do it in advance so we don't waste time at the meeting. So it's number R 2023-21. It's moved by Councillor Yam, seconded by Councillor Butler, that we pass bylaw number 2023-08, being a bylaw to adopt a policy respecting the management of nuisance beavers, beaver dams in the Township of Nipissing, read a first, second, and third time and passes 17th day of January 2023. Are there any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. So if you remember when I call them the Ethics Integrity Commission, I always call them the Ethics Commission. When the Integrity Commissioner was here, he had mentioned about our different, 3 in particular, our different committees. And those committees are acting through us, but they're acting also on behalf of us. And so he said that we needed basically staff on each committee so that we didn't by some manner contravene policies that the township has that we may not be aware of. So that's why we put on every committee, there will be 1 staff member acting as secretary. And then, of course, the rest of the committee makeup is all either councillors or members at large. And so he suggested this would be something to do so that you don't get caught in something that the rec committee may not be aware of. And so that's why we have these for all 3 of our major committees. So that's an explanation. If there are any comments or questions, though, I'll open that up to the floor again. Councillors, after I have a second. So Councillor Butler and Councillor Foote. So it's number R 2023-22, moved by Councillor Butler, seconded by Councillor Foote, that we pass bylaw number 2023-09, being a bylaw to authorize the creation and operation of a recreation committee for the conduct of recreational programming and management of the Township of Nipissing Community Center for the Corporation of the Township of Nipissing, read a first, second, and third time and passed the 17th day of January 2023. All in favor? Carried. Right, so the three committees we have right now, our three big ones are, Forest Recreation Committee, that you're sitting on, and then the Museum Committee. And I believe you two gentlemen are on that, and then the Cemetery Committee will be the last one. I can't remember who's sitting on that. Okay, Councilor Button, Councilor Young. Okay, so this is exactly the same as the last one, but this is for the museum. So I need a mover and a seconder. Okay, Councilor Kirky, Councilor Butler. So it's number 2023-23. It's moved by Councilor Kirky, seconded by Councilor Butler, that we pass bylaw 2023-10, being a bylaw to authorize the creation and operation of a board of management for the Nipissing Township Museum owned by the corporation of the Township of Nipissing. Read a first, second, and third time and passes 17th day of January 2023. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Agreed. And last, but definitely not least, is the Cemetery Committee. So I need a mover and a seconder again. Councilor Liam and Councilor Foot. It's number R 2023-24. Moved by Councilor Yam, seconded by Councilor Foot, that we pass bylaw number 2023-11, bylaw to authorize creation and operation of cemetery committee for the administration of the Nipissing Union Cemetery, Commander Cemetery, and the St. John's Alsace Cemetery for the corporation of the Township of Nipissing. First, second, and third time passes 17th day of January 2023. Any comments or questions? Okay, all in favor? Carried. Next, capital budget. Okay, pardon?
The capital budget for
Right. So biggest word to see here is draft. Okay. And we're just gonna go through it. We'll go through it. This is first time we're looking at it, and we will do this a number of times. And Chris will take the lead on this.
So we start with general government. For 2023, we don't have any large capital purchases planned. We're still working on the software implementation. Finalizing that this year. Moving forward, though, we would like to work on a new website and update our website in 2024. Replacing the municipal vehicle, which is used by our government official and other departments. That would take place in 2025. 2026 would be painting the interior of the office, which hasn't been done for a long time. And in 2027, we're going to need new computers. So that's pretty straightforward. The next part is the reserves plan. So this is what we plan to put in the reserves for this year and the reasons why. For admin, so we usually replace the server every 3 years, and it is 25,000. So putting away 5,000 a year helps us offset that cost. Municipal election, putting away $2,000 starting this year, and that will it spreads out over the 4 years before we get to the election, and that just continues to out until 2026. We're looking at doing a server replacement of that, but it depends on what's going to happen with our new software. So things could change. think the rest is self-explanatory for the office. Next is the fire department. Chief, do you want to say anything about your outlook on that?
Not unless there's questions.
So 2023, we're looking at year 4 of the pickup truck loan and year 4 of the UTV loan. Those payments come out of reserves. We use the reserve system. We rent our equipment from ourselves, and that is placed in a reserve each year, so it doesn't affect the station. We're looking at a dry hydrant installation, 2 of them. Is that correct, Chief?
Yes, hopefully,
Okay. Very
if the water allows us.
Yeah, and that's that whole thing. And Grand King Steamboat Road. That would be coming out of taxation. And it was discovered this past fall after 2 serious wind events that we need a new roof on this building. So that would be for half the fire department and half recreation. And then moving through the years, there are other dry hydrants planned and underground tanks planned in 2024. And in 2025, we're looking at the SCBA replacements, 150,000.
So SCBA's are 15-year life expectancy on them. So we'll budget and put away every 15 years.
Are they composite or?
They're all the new ones are composite with a life expectancy of 15 years. And they're all coming, 90% of them are coming now with a bumper to bumper warranty for 15 years.
Bill, after that, though, like through our insurance company and everything like that, after that 15 years, then the insurance company would also say, we won't insure those anymore.
Not necessarily, but all the tanks expire after 15 years. So you only can service them for 15 years. And then after 15 years, parts are hard to get.
And we run the reserve plan alongside that. So if you're looking at that in 2023, we have a large equipment reserve plan of 5,000, communications reserve plan of 5,000. We now have a new tower down the highway 522. Eventually, these things need to be replaced, so we'll start a reserve for that. And the fire apparatus reserves for our fleet. We also do machine equipment time rentals to build that reserve for a year. And then moving forward, there was an amounts increase slightly. Any questions on that?
Will these reserves meet the end result?
Not that far yet. We have quite a bit of reserve.
But at the same time, we don't want to totally deplete our reserves.
We're building towards it. We have very healthy reserves. And fire has, we're still building, it's relatively new to be renting our equipment from ourselves. So we haven't enough to cover what we have the loans out for now. So we're continuing to build that. As we move forward.
So this is our 3rd year of renting from ourselves. The roads department's been doing it for years. We just started it.
Okay.
So we now have enough to take all the loans payments out of the reserve. Landfill. So we're still waiting for our latest update report from pension, our new people. But based on the information we have from ACON, we're looking at the closure of the Bear Creek landfill in 2031.
Now, what's that information from ACON?
Yes, that's why we're waiting. And there's an update. I'm not sure what year we're looking at. So we're waiting to hear from pension what their updated provision.
That could change.
It can change. All of this is subject to change. This is just an estimate.
Mhm.
So if something were to come up in any of the departments in a given year, we can move everything forward. If we need to.
Now, the one on the landfill, any idea when we're going to get the report?
So we soon-
Should be soon,
pretty on it.
probably, I talked to them, and supposed to be right in the next 2 weeks, we'll have a report.
We have to have it because the audit starts Monday.
Oh, okay.
And we always have our closure reserve. We have quite a bit in reserve, so we've upped it because now that we're looking at a definite year, the closer date than we thought for Bear Creek, we got the amount. So the landfill closure, we have $500,000 per side, but it's going to be a really expensive.
Mhm.
So that's landfill. Public works. So this one gets a little bit complicated. There's 3 pages to look at here. So first we have our projections. We're going to be in year 1 of 5 for the new truck that is coming. It's coming in a few weeks.
Yeah, that is challenging for, you know.
We have 1 tandem truck that'll be in year 2 of the 5-year loan, 1 that's in year 3 of the 5-year loan, and the excavators in year 3 of the 5-year loan. All of those loan payments are coming from reserve, from the equipment reserve that we have for the roads. That will be covered. Looking forward, we're looking at a pickup truck in 2024. And moving through the fleet. But again, it's going to be moved as needed.
So if we had a catastrophic breakdown,
Which will not happen. Please, no. But yes, we have money in reserve. If we need to, that we can also-
Councilor Yem and I remember, I think Councilor Butler as well, when we had 2 graders. on that. And we never planned for that. Yeah.
Things
Yeah.
Evolve.
Time I drive by when I travel.
So moving forward with the public works projects that we have on deck for this year. We're hoping to do phase 3 of Birch Grove using the gas tax grant and the ocean grant. Seal of phase 1 and 2. We'll also be covered under that. We have money in the reserve to do a gravel application of 9 kilometers of the Alsace Road. We also have on here, we put it in here for the Humboldt Bridge repair, but that is a $3 million project, depending on which way we decide to go. We're still looking at financing. That is not something we can actually imagine we're going to do this year. We're just getting the rest of the groundwork ready for the work on site and working for. So we're still waiting to hear from Watson what their decision is on the different options for the rebuild. And for the Alsace Road, again, we have that in here. We have our half of the money for the surface treatment and for the construction. We're waiting to hear what Watson wants to do. We have to have it in writing from them before we can proceed with where we're going to go with it.
No, but we get commitment from them. You go ahead when at that point.
And we said that we would do the RFP.
Yes, and then all of the construction.
So they just have to meet us halfway.
The garage roof repairs were supposed to be done this year. We put that off as long as we can. We're going to need to look at that. We're also looking at the garage has some very serious structural concerns. So we need to look at replacement. So yeah, we'll be coming forward with more information on that. But there's a grant opportunity out right now that should be opening soon. And I've drafted a resolution to provide the authorization to go ahead with just applying for the grant to see if we can get the funding and see if we can include that in our budget. But it's a large project that needs to be done, and we're looking at different options.
And it's one of those things, if we don't get the funding, it's not going to be done. Simple as that.
Yeah, these are big projects, but the funding is out there to some. So we will investigate what we can get before we move forward with that. And gravel run 8, I included a copy of the schedule on the back. Yeah. So it should be run 8 on the road that'll be done for. And we put money into reserve for those runs as well. That's an option.
How much is aggregate snow?
Probably about 200, like one of those runs costs about 275,000.
Okay, so yardage cost or tonnage cost?
I think you're about 21 bucks a ton, 20 to like apply.
Mhm.
Any questions on that?
And again, these are all things that we're gonna discuss
Yes.
in greater detail later on. It's just, we've got to get our heads up because auditors next. Hopefully, we're gonna hear from Gloucester next, and we have to get RFPs out.
Well, once we have a consensus from council on where we want to go with our capital project, we can start budgeting the budget to get us better ideas. We know our wage expenses and our operational expenses for capital.
Project on Hazelton, is that Hart Road?
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
It says 300,000 to refine a culvert on Hazelton Road.
Or Hart Road,
It would be Hart Road.
is that the one there?
Yeah, that's the one we do, and that one we're gonna use,
North
Nord's funding,
funding, yeah.
because we'll share that with Cal.
Yeah. And we thought about maybe going aluminized steel.
I was kind of looking at trying to reline it, that'd be the
Yeah.
cheapest option.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I'm looking. It's still in decent shape, but it is coming
Yeah.
to its end.
Yeah, so they could pump it out and reline it.
Reline it, yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm hoping that, because we have quite a few culverts, as you'll know, coming up. And I'm trying to, hopefully we can catch them soon enough where we can reline them.
Yeah.
And digging them up and.
Yeah.
Replace them with mold plates and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a lot cheaper.
Now, does relining last longer?
It's a plastic, liner, so yeah, it lasts. A good, probably 50 years.
That's a project that we have to work with county on, so we'll be working with them shortly to start getting it.
But it was just a good place to put that funding.
Yeah.
To utilize it.
Because it's not coming up out of our budget.
And there was stipulations to that funding, it either had to be coming from a aggregate source or, if they're doing lots of logging or something. So there was parameters for that funding.
Oh, right, to repair damage from that kind of activity. Okay.
and one other question, we don't have any gravel for Wolf Lake Road.
No, that wasn't in that run.
Okay,
We did up to the beach 2 years ago.
yeah,
We just haven't,
okay.
So for the reserves, we've been putting money, as it started last year with garage reserve, just putting some money aside as we put there. And of course, there's the bridge reserve. We're going to use the gravel this year, so we won't be putting that into reserve, but we'll start the gravel reserve again this year. Cemetery. This year, we're looking at a lawnmower replacement and a trailer, which will become the recreation committee for the trailer. All we have there, we're looking at fencing options for Nipissing Union Cemetery first, but we're putting them aside for that.
That's permanent.
But we want to get a nice fence, so we're hoping to have that by 2025. Trying to price it out right now, but it's very difficult to find one spot. Continue to put money into reserve for the fencing. Information capital forecast. So the aquatic boat launch is in really bad shape. It can be quite dangerous, so the cement needs to be removed. Dan, do you want to speak?
Yeah,
about that?
it's all hollow and it's all given out, and someone's gonna break the ankle or something. So we're gonna pull that cement out and leave it at the natural sand watch.
We don't have a cost on that as of yet,
Well, we'll do, public works will just.
Yeah. so it's
Very minimal.
It's a large project. We also need some repairs on Chapman and Simon Dock, but we need to have that looked at as well, for what's required. And then there's small work required on the ring boards, so we're working on that. And the other half of the roof, under recreation, and half the trailer, and a storage building beside the rink building for recreational programming is also included. In the reserves plan, we have started reserves for dock boat launch because there are no funds in reserve right now for the dock. We have Chapman's running the government dock now. We have the body boat launch. But we need money for. Community center building reserve, we're going to be coming out to meeting with repairs at some time, so we're away 5,000 that each year. Fitness center reserve, we always put about 10,000 away because all of the buildings purchased at once. So we're trying to keep up with that. And the rink playground, the Heritage Park Reserve was started last year, or this year, 2,500 to start for the playground. This is all last year, we shouldn't have to do much to it for a while, but when we do, we should have some of the side. So it's just rotates through all of the years. It's not there anymore, not that one anymore. We did keep looking, but the trillium grant that's out this year is for the resilient communities. And if you look at the museum, the museum has some serious foundation issues that need to be repaired. We have an engineer in, we have the estimate at $82,000. So there is a resilient communities grant out from Trillium, which February 1st. So I also have that on this resolution to look into the funding. And that's 100% coverage. So that's these money is. Now I know the museum had hoped to do the heritage window repair in the church. That's going to be 20,000, and that had been on 2023, but we need to do the foundation first, as per the insurance report. So I just made that into it. We've been increasing the amount put into reserve for the museum each year. And we'll just increase that. So it's going to be more. Showing this to the money board, we just got the days for it. Like everything for the capital.
Very preliminary. I think what we have to look at, I mean, all you have to do is go to a grocery store or a gas pump and see just how much everything's gone up this year. It's astronomical. And so we're gonna have to be really creative and hopefully get some grants. We really need grants, and we need our partners to step up, because regardless, we're gonna see a tax increase. If you just look at cost of living, it's up 6.7. And you look at that for a township, it would suggest that we go up 6.6. And that would be hard to swallow. So we have to work on this. We have to be creative, as we said. Start watching. If you start listening to the other townships around us, see what they're floating out there, you know. And there's some big numbers, which is just scary. But we can look at this. We can pare it down, and we'll go from there, you know. But this is just the beginning, and now you have it and you can look at it, that kind of thing. One issue, and that's why I asked Will about the lifespan on the tanks, that kind of thing. Because what we've run into at East Home is that insurance is now coming to us and saying, well, you're gonna have to upgrade this, or we're not gonna give you insurance anymore. And that's one of the things they're talking about with the garage. They may not insure us if we don't make some big changes, but that we won't know for sure till the spring.
In the spring, they're coming in to do another facilities audit with insurance. That all goes towards our asset management plan, which is a requirement for the government. So they're coming to do all the facilities. Our fleet is in really good shape, but facilities.
Again, I can only, speaking from Easton, we thought everything was covered. And they came in and dropped an $80,000 bill on us. It was not budgeted, so, and we all know that the levy, East Home's levy is shared by 14 townships, Nipissing being one of them. And we pay, over 100,000, over 150,000 now. So we have to look at that, and policing. Policing didn't go up, so that's the good news. So there is some good news out there.
So there is this resolution. So this will pass to allow us to, just gives us authorization to apply for those grants to see if we get them.
Anybody have any issues about like get money? And we did have a council a while ago that kept calling it free money. It's not free money. Tell where every cent comes from, but anyway. So this is to look for the Resilient Communities Fund, which would help out the museum, and the Green and Inclusive Community Buildings Program. And it's not painted green, it's environmentally happy. So I need a mover and a seconder, Councilor Young, Councilor Kirky. So it's number R 2023-25, moved by Councilor Yam, seconded by Councilor Kirky, that we authorize the municipal administrator, clerk treasurer to submit funding application for museum foundation repairs to the Resilient Communities Fund and, excuse me, garage office construction project to the Green and Inclusive Community Buildings Program when available. All in favor? Carried. Godspeed. Okay, I'll flip my stuff over, so I'm gonna have to look at correspondence. Yes. So only 3 pieces of correspondence. The first, a resolution from the city of Kingston regarding support for motion on the Resource Recovery and Circular Economy Act. What we've suggested is, and if you read it at the very end of it, they said this has been forwarded to AMO. So again, what we've been doing is letting AMO do the legwork on things like that. They have the lawyers, they have the staff, and we'll wait for their input if that's okay with you. The second one is just more information on more homes built fast track. And again, it has little to do with us, but now they're looking at new interim building inspectors. And if they build all these homes, then they need interim building inspectors, and they don't have it. So now they're looking at how they're going to source this out, find the inspectors and whatever. And they're looking at the modernization and provincial qualification and registration tracking system. But again, this is from Minister Steve Clark, and it is indeed an information item. The other one, we talked about perhaps not going to AMO because it is expensive and it's in London. But right in our backyard, and I know it, I don't know who went to Phenom last year.
I did,
You did? Okay.
myself and Liz. Because it was in North Bay.
Right, well, it's close, it's now Perry Sound. And everything there is info on Phenom, but there's no mention of what's on what days. There's no mention of the speakers yet, but we have until April 7th. So we still have a little time
Yeah,
before we have to book.
I thought I got some emails on.
You may have, you might want to check that.
It may have come in after we did the correspondence package.
Oh,
So once
okay.
we post
Yeah.
it, we don't usually add to it till the next meeting.
I'll go through my stuff.
And if you're interested, I know, we never stayed in Curry Sound, we just go back and forth, and I don't know. When we get the information, you might just want to go one day, that kind of stuff, and see what applies to us, but that's Federation of Northern Ontario Municipalities, so it's more apropos than probably Anglo, which is pretty dark big. And I've been pointing out, it doesn't include Toronto, but every other city in the province, so we're big time. So that is the correspondence, pretty lean, which is pretty good. So we'll move her to seconder to accept the correspondence, Councillor Butler, and then Councillor Kirky, thank you. So it's number R 2023-26, moved by Councillor Butler, seconded by Councillor Kirky, that we accept the correspondence as presented. All in favor? Statement of accounts. If you look, there's this on the end of the package that was on your desk because everything wasn't there. It is, excuse me, amended, but check it out if there's anything, if you have any questions.
One of the items that's on the accounts is our lawyer managed to find a planner who will defend the of these on the phone. And then fees on.
Where,
John?
okay. So the former Steve and I could speak to this. After we went through 6 or 7 public meetings about the trailer bylaw that it seemed that we had to bring in. We had numerous meetings. We have passed it that you can have a trailer in the rural zone. But that wasn't the fight was trailers in the lakeshore, limited service.
Oh, that's our resignation.
Right. So we went through everything. We had the committee. We said, yes, you could have a trailer. And it passed. And the very next day, it was appealed by someone out of, they come here in the summer, they're residents in the state of New York. They got a lawyer and they've appealed our decision. So by appealing it, that shut down any trailer. And now we have to abide by the decision, but because we had passed it, we had to hire a planner to defend our bylaw. So that's what this is, because we can't use our original planner, so we had to go outside. So Steve and I and the other council at the time supported that, and this planner will either support it or he won't, and it'll go down in flames, or we'll have a trailer bylaw. And we'll know that in the next.
The planner feels they can defend the decision from the last time and charge just the initial fee. And the OLT hearing was originally scheduled for tomorrow. It's been postponed because our lawyer and the appellate lawyer are both in another case tomorrow together. So they haven't given us the new date yet. So it's still moving forward.
So, yes, so when you're looking at planning and zoning, that's what it's all about. And are there any other questions? So if not, we'll Mover, a seconder to the statements of accounts. Counselor What? Counselor Young. So it's number R 2023-27. Moved by Counselor Foote, seconded by Counselor Young, that the statement of accounts dated December 31st, 2022, January 5th, 6th, 13th, and 17th, 2023, totaling $130,114.23 be approved. All in favor? Carried. Okay, confirming bylaw. Everything we did tonight. The seconder, Councilor Butler and Councilor Fritz. You. So it's number R 2023-28, moved by Councilor Butler, seconded by Councilor Turkey, that we pass bylaw number 2023-12, on the bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its meeting held on January 17, 2023, read the first, second, and third time, and passed the 17th day of January 2023. All in favor? Carried. Excuse me. And adjournment. Seconder. Okay. What? So it's number R 2023-29, moved by Councilor Foote, seconded by Councilor Young, that the meeting be adjourned at 7:27 p.m. The next regular meeting to be held February 7th, 2023. All in favor? Carried. Okay, I thank you for those, a ton of reading. I appreciate that. And we'll have more.